And there you go, October the 8th is finally here. So thank you for joining us at the Citizen Open House live event. Right, so what's today all about? Well, we're going to be covering all of the latest technology from Citizen Machinery UK. And it's really impressive, some of the technological advancements on their fixed and sliding head machines, including Citizen announcing 2 of their world firsts. But we'll come to that a little bit later on in the show, and we will also see who won the competition, which you can actually still get involved in. It was launched yesterday on our social channels about the fastest cycle time, so if you still want to get involved in that, then you can do. Just check out our socials that went out yesterday and write your guesses in. Also, if you didn't know already, but Citizen have their VIP event running throughout October, and that's subject, of course, to any of the COVID-19 limitations. You can still attend and book your space in the showrooms here in Brierley Hill or in Bushy that's near Watford by either telephoning and booking, and all the details are actually coming up on screen, but you can also email going sales@citizenmachinery.co.uk. But first we need to meet Edward James, who is the Managing Director of Citizen here in the UK. Thank you, Edward, for having us along today.
It's a pleasure, Lindsay. Thank you for having us.
Oh, it really is a pleasure. We've had a really hectic morning actually getting everything set up, but let's get down to the nitty-gritty really. So how has the past few months been for you?
I don't think we need to tell anybody how challenging the last 6-7 months has been for UK manufacturing, but Citizen's such a progressive company. We always use a period like this to reinvent ourselves and to restructure and to talk to our customers, to train our staff, and ultimately to bring new products to the market.
And have you got any?
Yeah, 1 or 2. We've got 8 new models at the moment. Obviously we couldn't show some of them at MAC, but the open house event is always important for that.
Yep.
And we need to get them shown because we've got more coming in the spring. So
you've got positive thoughts going forward, and you've really worked in use time quite wisely during the pandemic.
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, as some of our customers did, we were heavily involved in the ventilator challenge. It took us an opportunity to discuss with our customers on a new level and to help out the manufacturing industry. We learned a lot over the last 6 months about how important it was for customers to learn about efficiency gains.
Okay.
And our technology lends itself, especially with the LFV technology, about having very stable long-term running cycles, and you know, we can run machines for 23 hours a day, no problem at all. And I think customers have learned a lot over the last sort of 6 months how important it is to get a better return on their investment, how to get more for less, and they're looking to run their machines for longer. And that's where we can step in, and that's why we've got an exciting announcement. And
we're going to be finding it out a little bit later on. In essence, what you're trying to tell me is you're more a solutions provider, and we're hearing that a lot at the moment.
Yeah, we've been running a dedicated solution business the entire time we've been in business, but what we've learned is that that's not enough anymore. Customers are looking to us now to provide them with complete solutions that are proven off-site before they arrive, and we've been focusing on that very heavily for the last 18 months, and we've got the confidence now over the last 6 months talking to our customers that we're seeing an increasing demand for the solutions business, and we're going to be launching a dedicated solution business.
That's exciting. Can you tell us more about that?
Yeah, we've people may know that the Brierley Hill facility that we're in today is known as our Turning Centre of Excellence, and we've taken the decision to rebrand our headquarters in Watford as our new Solution Centre. And we're going to have permanently on display gantry loader, robot loaded machines, all different types of solutions for automation and high efficiency running.
I guess really you want to show people what these machines are capable of, and not just talk about it, but actually show them. It's
going to be like a permanent exhibition. The machines in this showroom are in and out, I can't keep track of them. But down in Watford, we're going to have a permanent display of automated solutions so that people can come in, and that includes our software solutions as well.
Okay, just really for anybody who's watching today, what are they going to get from watching the show? And if people were here, what would you say to them?
I would say that Citizen UK is the largest supplier of bar-fed mill turn lathes in the UK. It's all we do. We're specialists at it. We're constantly bringing new models to the market. As I say, we've got 8 model launches now, more coming in the spring, including a very exciting model which I can't mention at the moment.
Okay.
But it's going to take the UK by storm, as it will in the rest of Europe. It's a machine that we've designed in the UK that Citizen Japan have agreed to manufacture for us.
Yeah.
And it's very exciting. So it's a journey. We're constantly on that journey. We're constantly developing the new machines for tomorrow. And in the UK, we're trying to give our UK and Ireland customers technology that's going to give them a competitive edge.
Yeah, well, it sounds very exciting, I must admit. Like, not even knowing that, it kind of excites me about it. So, well, thank you very much, Edward. I really, really appreciate that. And we're going to have a great show today. And as we would always say, and encourage people to ask questions. You know, if you're at home, maybe you've got a Citizen that you use. Tell us how you find it. We'll say it aloud on the screen. We want to voice you know, your customers' opinions as well. So any questions that you have, please do send them in throughout the show. Any last words from yourself?
If you've got a manufacturing problem, come and talk to us.
Perfect, there you go. Well, thank you very much, Edward.
No problem at all. Thank you, Lindsay.
No, pleasure. Right, okay, first let's introduce the team that are going to be talking you through the open house event today. So let's start off with James Taylor. Now, James is a sales engineer and has a background, this is James behind me, James has a background in applications. Chris Downham, he's a solutions engineer, which is this gentleman over here, and he's been working, so this is James, and this here is Chris. Chris is a solutions engineer, and he has been working on Citizens for 14 years, and he certainly knows his stuff, don't you, Chris? You do, don't you? Okay, and then Tony Northup, who I met how many years ago? It was quite a long time ago, about 10 years ago. How long? About 10 years ago. He looks after the Southwest as a sales engineer, and quite honestly, I can say he's a legend and he loves drinking cider, don't you, Tony? He's a big nod from Tony there. And of course, our own Colin Griffiths and Giovanni Albanese is going to be on hand to answer any of your questions also. There's Colin and Gio. Right, we're going to begin, we're going to have a look by having a quick look around at the showroom and reviewing some of their new machines. But whilst we're all streaming live, as I said earlier, please engage with us. Please ask your questions that you've got. Send them in on whichever social media platform you're watching. Send them in below and they come straight through to the team here, straight through to me here, and I can get all your questions answered by the professionals. You know, as though you were actually going to an open house event, even however technical, it doesn't matter. So firstly, we visited the Bushy showroom, and that's near Watford, where Colin had a chat with James and found out more about the Syncom L12 LFV.
The L12 Type 10 with LFV. The L12's been around quite a while, but this is the newest model. I've not seen it before. Well, pretty new to yourself as well, James. Talk me through what's going on, please.
Yeah, well, this is our new L12 Type 10.
Yep.
So we have a different door. If you notice, you're not going to get oil dripping all down you.
No, absolutely. I mean, even the basics, you've thought about the door, because it used to be a slide to open. Much nicer, isn't it?
Yeah, it's up and over now, so you can actually get a lot more access than you could before.
Okay, when you say access, in there, what's going on in the working envelope in terms of, well, the spindle speed, for example?
Well, our spindle speed in the main is 15,000 RPM. We have 10 on the driven units, that's front and back, and we have 10,000 on the sub-spindle.
Right, okay, so what does that mean to our engineers out there?
It just means you can keep the service speed up faster on like the smaller parts where it requires faster spindle speeds.
Okay, no problem at all. Now, obviously it's in the name, L12, 12mm bar?
Yeah, it's 12mm bar as standard, but you can upgrade and get it with an expansion kit up to 16mm, and that's guide bush or guide bushless.
Okay, and again, guide bushless, you're doing those shorter parts?
Yes.
Okay. Now, LFV, addition, it wasn't a main spindle before, both spindles now?
Yeah, it's on both spindles. We added a Y2 axis, so we have another bank of tooling, and we didn't compromise on losing the LFV at all. So
okay. And those, I mean, the LFV, I'm assuming everybody does know what it is, but very quickly, low frequency vibration, what can an engineer expect to get when they're using that?
They're just going to find more productivity, really. They're not going to have to keep opening up the machines. If they're doing that stringy materials and stuff, it's just going to keep running. It just breaks up the chip.
Okay.
Surface finish is good. And you can add coolant onto the tip, so it can actually improve tool life.
Absolutely. Okay. So essentially, oscillator. How many times is it moving away from the actual spindle or the part every oscillation?
Well, there's different modes. We have mode 1, 2, and 3, which
Yep.
I'll get into later. Mode 1, it oscillates about 2.5 times a revolution. So it's not a macro or a dwell. It's actual hardware. It actually oscillates.
Right. Okay. So essentially, like I say, you're getting lubricant onto the surface,
Yes.
so it's improving tool life.
Yes.
Okay. Now, with I think sort of you come to expect with the Citizen machine in terms of setting the machine, the datum, and actually the controls. Talk me through what's going on with that.
Well, it uses our M700 control. Tool setting's very easy.
Okay. Well, just quickly give us an example of.
Yeah, so all our tool settings done in one page. We can select the tool. We even have a handy arrow which points to what tool we're actually setting at the time.
Right. So
it knows where every tool is.
Right.
So it always avoids collisions because it always lifts up the amount to clear the tool that's got to go past.
Okay. So nice and simple. What about setting a datum then?
There's no datum setting on. You have one datum at the start, which basically just tells you how much is sticking out the bar, which is in the code, which doesn't change. So it's very simple. As long as you're using the same part of every time.
Okay, nice and simple. And also Mitsubishi controls. What can I expect to get from those?
Well, it's much faster. It doesn't lag or anything like that.
Right.
It's very streamlined. It's very fluid. If
Right.
you're doing a lot of servicing work, it's far superior than.
Okay. So in a nutshell, I'm going to get from this machine fast, efficient, accurate, 24/7 lights out machining.
No, that's exactly right. It's a great little machine, to be fair. It's easy to work on. It's fast. It's reliable.
What more do you want?
Well, exactly.
Brilliant. James, thank you very much.
Thank you, Colin.
Next, we are going to have a look at the BNA 42 SY5. So let's head over to Geo, who's with Tony Noleth.
Thanks, Lindsay. Tony, the latest addition to the BNA family. Now, can you firstly just give our audience a rundown on this machine tool, please?
Yeah, so as you say, it's the latest addition to the BNA range. That constitutes 4/5 machines as it stands. This being the new model, there's one or two changes which you might expect. It's got increased capacity on the turret, 12-station turret, slightly heavier bed and more power to the spindles. But primarily it's been introduced to the range with automation in mind.
Now, when you mention automation, obviously you can have a bar feeder on the machine and you've also got a conveyor, but what other forms of automation can be added to this machine and how have you changed the design to accommodate for this?
Yeah, so increasingly now, and even made sort of exacerbated by the current situation, people are looking at automating what they can and getting unattended operation. And to do that on a 3-axis lathe, very often that would bring in robot loading. Okay, and so the design of the machine is configured around that. The base is prepared for a robot loading facility towards what would ordinarily be the sub-spindle or tailstock end. So the casting's prepared to take anybody's robot load. It doesn't, it isn't an inbuilt robot as such. You can see that the door's got the opening over the spindle center line for loading in from the top of the machine. And when you're automating a machine and you have the robot facility, you still need to unload the parts, which would typically be done to this side of the machine. And so the casting has been designed to be either the conventional swarf conveyor exit or to have a swarf conveyor exit to the rear of the machine, so it gives room for the auto loading stroke parts handling.
So this has been designed really with unmanned running in mind?
Yeah, very much so, designed around that. Unmanned running, but automation in general. Even when it's a tended operation, i.e. people on site, not having somebody stood loading, if it's like casting or billet work, where you'd ordinarily have to have a person there loading and unloading. People want to get away from that, get more efficiency from the machine. Facilitate that unattended operation. Yeah.
So you've simplified automation solutions for this particular product. Now tell me about the capabilities of the machine, please.
So it's the BNA range has got varying capabilities. This is a straight 3-axis machine, what people would term as a 3-axis machine from a milling point of view. So there's no actual Y-axis on the top turret, but we do have the sub-spindle, or you've got the capability of having a tailstock, or nothing at all at this end of the machine, which again, as we say, is about the facilitating the robot loading.
So very flexible and modular.
Yeah, it can be configured how you want it, as you say, in a modular format. It's a very robust casting. So again, if you're doing things like casting work or billet work, if you might have interrupted cutting or whatever, that rigidity is there, as it is in all the Miano range.
And you're not restricted to the materials that you can cut, whether
Not
you're
at all.
turning or milling.
Not at all, no. We've got the capability and the ability to cut whatever material.
And on the 12-station turret, do you have milling functionality on each station?
Yeah.
If you wanted it?
Yeah, flexible, yeah.
And do you get clients that potentially want to obviously just turn, but even make prismatic parts on this particular model?
Yeah, increasingly, you know, turning centres are becoming prismatic machines, as you say. You know, so that capability has got to be there on almost any turning centre now. So yeah.
Now, barriers to entry sometimes can be programming, for example, when the parts are becoming more complicated. What have you done to simplify programs and programming? I know this is a basic model in regards to the axis, but are there any special features with the programming on this machine?
There's no special features as such. All our range, Syncom and Miano, they all benefit from the CNC Wizard, which we as a company have created. And this will be supported by the CNC Wizard. So it's an offline programming system that's specific for our machines, you know, and one system supports all machines in the range. And so this will be supported by that.
And you mentioned, well, we haven't mentioned yet, but you're selling the machines based on a return on investment. Can you break that down for our audience and how important this is to you? So kind of finding the right application for each product. And you've got many products for many applications.
Yeah, so return on investment is obviously more important to the customer than us, but you know, that's what we see as a feature of our machines, and we like to quantify for customers what the potential return on investment is. So we'll take a typical part and we'll study it for productivity, cycle time, if you want to call it that. And then working with the customer, maybe even getting the cost of the part what they can sell it for and the number of hours that they can run, whether that be manned or unmanned, and building into that overhead costs, which are obviously less if it's unattended and manned. Then we create a sheet that basically shows the return on investment, including the finance payments, typically a 5-year finance deal, so that people can see exactly what they'll be earning off that machine per day, per week, per year, and what their return on investment is.
And that's brilliant. It's basically what Lindsay says earlier on. You're a solutions provider and you work hand in hand with your clients.
Absolutely, yeah. We pride ourselves in that. We've got a lot of experience within the applications team. We can come up with lots of solutions, even solutions that some people haven't thought about. Other customers have thought about a solution but can't quite facilitate it, so they use our knowledge and capability to bring that into being, really.
Tony, it's been an absolute pleasure. Thank you very much for the insight into the new BNA, or the new member of the BNA family, shall I say.
You got it.
Thank you very much, Tony.
No problem.
If you have any questions on this machine, don't forget to get them in. Now, back to you, Lindsay.
From one person who knows a lot about citizens to another. Thank you, Chris. I'm going to put you on the spot now. What, in essence, what would you say that machine is all about?
It's really, the machine's been designed from the ground up with automation in mind. So gantry loaders, stuff like that. I would really say it's aimed towards the big OEMs, aerospace, stuff like that.
Yeah, okay, and I've had a few questions that have come in. So let's start on, and again, as we always say, keep sending your questions in. What software is recommended for these machines? And that's from Andrew Rogers from Industrial Design. Thank you for that question, Andrew.
So we have the Alcart Wizard, which is really good, supports all of our machines. We have been working with Fusion and nearly got a lot of the posts ready to go as well. So I'd recommend them too. Okay,
I know Tony did mention one of those just a moment ago. And is there a CAD-CAM package developed with full post-processor for the ABX THY series? That's from Stephen Rowland.
I would say Esprit. I'm not 100% sure, but Esprit would be the one what I'd be looking at.
Okay, there we go. So again, like I say, any questions, are you watching? Give us a thumbs up, let us know you're there. We'd love to hear from you. Okay, so thank you very much for that, Chris. Next up, well, I had a chat with James, and this is Citizen's first exclusive today. So let's see what that's all about. Right, before we find out about the ATC, let's talk about the L20. Who's this aimed at?
Our L20 is actually aimed at anyone, really, to be honest with you. It doesn't technically cater to one market. It can make the simplest of dowels to the most complex component, really.
Okay, and the size L20, but you can go a bit bigger on the capacity, is that
It
right?
can be expanded to 25 mil, and that's with a guide bush or without one.
Okay, and within the machine, the platens?
A standard it's a 5-turn station, although you can put turn stations in the driven units as well.
Okay, is it a popular machine for Citizen?
It's probably one of our most popular ones, really. In terms of capacity, it's in the middle of the range. It is dedicated really for smaller components in a way.
Okay, so why have you chosen to put the ATC on it? And what is the ATC?
So the ATC is automatic tool changer. So you can fit 12 tools into the magazine, and it has one that stays there the whole time, so static in there. It means you can have sister tool in. You can do more complicated components because you're not limited to the amount of tools.
So give me an example of a complicated component.
Well, in like the terms of dental, sometimes you require more angular tools, and if you're limited to 3 or 4, it's not enough. So now we've taken it to the next level.
Right, brilliant. And is this unique in the industry?
It is unique. It's the first sliding head machine that has an ATC spindle.
Okay, and you were talking about different industries. You mentioned medical, but who else is it aimed at?
To be fair, it's aimed at anyone really. If you're doing, say for example, you're doing hard materials and you want it to automatically change tool after a certain period of time so you can keep the lights out running, you can put sister tooling in so it will automatically change to the other tool.
Makes sense because it's a sliding head. That's essentially why you're buying a machine like this for.
Exactly.
Okay, and so overall, what would you say is good about the ATC?
It just gives you a lot more flexibility. It means you can leave tools in their set. You know, it means you don't have to keep changing tools out just to put them back in again. You know, it's just easier.
And that saves time, which saves...
Exactly, money.
Okay, so we were in Bushy just a few moments ago, which is near Watford, but now we've transported ourselves to Brierley Hill. Now, James, I know you really like the machine we were just talking about there. In essence, what do you think is so good about it? I know we covered it, you spoke about medical, but are you fascinated by the technology?
Oh yeah, most definitely. I mean, it's the first of its kind. I mean, it's something we've pioneered. It's the first Swiss-style machine that has an ATC spindle. I mean, it just delivers absolute flexibility. The amount of tooling you can put in, even if you're doing simple parts, it just means you can keep the same family of tools in there, and it will just aid and quicken up changeover to other jobs.
Okay, and you know, you're fairly new to Citizen. Can you tell everybody who's watching who you are and what you do here?
Yeah, so well, my name's James. I started last year as an application engineer, and then I moved on to sales.
Are you enjoying it?
Yeah, very much so. I always have.
Yeah? Is it a little bit difficult at the moment, or are you not finding it?
No, it's fine. I mean, I think it's fine. You know, it's a challenge. I'm not going to lie, but
but you're just getting on with it, I guess.
Exactly.
You know, it's a challenge for everyone, really.
Yes.
I guess. Right. Okay. Thank you, James. Now, Colin is going to do a little bit of a walk around. Now, if you were coming to an open house, of course, you'd naturally walk around the showroom and look into the machines and get those questions answered. Well, I think our lovely Colin is going to do that for you. Just give us a few moments. We're just going to change your microphone over and then you can have a little walk around the show.
Lindsay, thank you very much. First of all, I'd like to say that Edward has thrown us a couple of curveballs there. I mean, the solution provider thing, I think we all knew that about Citizen. But automation down at Watford, gantry loaders, robot arms.
Yeah. That's where we're trying to push everything.
Okay, now what we said was we're going to do a walk around of the machine, the showroom. We've got a number of machines we'll talk about, the new ones. So Gio just had a chat about one. We've also looked at the A20, L20, ATC, get that correct. But I want to look at this one first. So M30, well I can read that, M32 Type 8. What can you, well, the first thing that stands out to me, you've got a turret in there. What's going on?
Yeah, got a turret in there. That's it's a dog drive on there now, so it's a lot more powerful, the turret is. 3 tools in cut. Sliding head, you've got guide bushless, LFV on the main spindle.
Okay. When you say that the direct, or dog drive or tang drive, did you say?
Tang drive, sorry,
Tang
I call
drive.
it a dog drive for someone.
That's okay. But what does that mean to engineers? So a normal turret, how's it different?
So the previous M, every tool would be running, so if you turn the power tool on, every tool would be running on here, but with this it's just one now, and also you can put a lot more torque through it.
Okay, so I'm assuming a lot more power, a lot more torque through there. Okay, now great example of components.
The hydraulic fitting.
Okay, there you go. Now this isn't the cycle time challenge, but this is perfect for this type of machine?
Yeah, it shows the speed of the machine, this part does. This machine will make anything you want, really. So if you want to put a simple job on it, put a simple job on it. You want to put a complex job on it, put a complex job on it.
I'm going to put you on the spot then. Cycle time for that?
Can I just press the button on the screen?
You are. There you go. Now this is your HMI and
Yes.
the M800 control. Just
M800, 5-axis. That part is made in 2 minutes 31 seconds.
2 minutes 31.
Yeah.
Impressive stuff. As is usual, Chris, showing off. Come on, let's go to the next machine. Now we've got Isaac working in the background. Now, he normally joins us, but he's
my boss.
busy. Your boss, okay. Well, he's busy today. Now the next machine we've got here, the L32. I'm thinking relatively basic machine compared to what we've just seen, but
It is basic, but it's very, very capable as well. Load of power, guide bushless. You know, you wouldn't be making impellers and stuff on it, but it's still a very good machine.
okay. Now
Powerful.
You've already mentioned guide bushless twice already, and we've mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
Benefits of going guide bushless.
Going guide bushless is concentricity is one thing. You're not moving it, and the bar the bar quality affects it when you're in a guide bush. Shorter remnant. That's it, really.
Okay, but also something I think you pointed out a few months ago was with the non-guide bush, you can actually get more accuracy.
Yeah, that's the concentricity thing.
Okay, right.
Yeah,
sorry. There you go. And with that, do you need to grind when you're feeding the bar? Do you need ground bar?
No, you can go to. You don't want rubbish bar, but it's got to be. It's still. You don't have to have H9 tolerance.
Okay, yeah. So any old bar,
Yeah,
within reason.
Yeah,
okay, so that's a great example. That's the L32. Now we've got machines in the background being prepped to go out, so it doesn't.
PDI department.
It doesn't stop here, does it? And it's busy work. That's the first time I've seen this gentleman working all day over there, but that's not very fair. So we've already spoke about the L12 Type 10 LFV. Now LFV, I know what it is. You know what it is. But people out there, low frequency technology. What can you expect to get from it?
More production, basically. You're going to run further into the night. The door's not going to be open. People not going to be pulling off birds nesting. It's process security, really. That's the main thing.
You read my script there. Process security, absolutely. But better surface finish because there's no birds.
Yeah, better tool life as well. Because the tool comes away from the job, you're actually getting coolant to the cutting edge, which is normally covered by swarf or the material. So tool life can increase quite a bit.
Brilliant. Now, engineers are always saying, oh, you know, got to bring those cycle times down. It's not necessarily about bringing those cycle times down.
No.
It's you know, the cycle time might even increase, but it's the fact you've got that process security 24/7.
Yeah, exactly. In most scenarios, it actually has decreased it because we can take a bigger depth of cut because we're running at lower surface speeds, lower feed rates. You don't need the roughing cuts. We can just hit it in one go. So it's two ways. It might work. It might slow it down.
I'll tell you what.
Application.
Something that Gio says a lot. Application specific.
There
now,
you go.
Next one. We're working our cameraman very hard here as well. So the D25. Again, well, just talk about Mitsubishi controls, but
yeah. So it's the new M800 control. 3-channel machine, full 5-axis. It does look very pretty as well.
And obviously you've just modelled it there in terms of it's touchscreen.
Yes, sorry, it's touchscreen, full keyboard, which makes programming really nice and simple. It's a very good interface. It's nice.
The Mitsubishi controls are known for how fast they are.
Yeah, the processing power is really good, and you can do a lot with it. There's just very clever stuff going on in the background.
Brilliant. And in the actual machine itself, how many? I mean, you've got B access, you could do fully simultaneous 5-axis work on this?
So you've got 2 gang tool posts. There is gang 2 has got this independent Z axis, so you can overlap. You can do 2 different operations at once on the main spindle.
Right. You guys here do like your sort of multiple, you're turning, milling, pinch milling, superimpose, simultaneous, everything like that.
It's the best way to machine.
Well, absolutely, yeah. And again, you're getting that product efficient. Come back to return on investment.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. Now I'm going to showcase this part. Relatively simple, but perfect example of what you can do on here.
It's a very simple part, but it is made in 24 seconds.
Sorry, just to read it, 24 seconds. Fantastic. So again, great return on investment. Right, let's move on to the next one. So these machines here now, the BNE 51, the BNJ 51. Straight away I'm looking at these 2 machines. The difference I'm seeing here, obviously the name, but Fanuc control, Mitsubishi control. Also, what are you getting inside there?
This is, I'd say, more of a high volume machine.
Okay.
Yeah. Super fast. Yeah, it's actually my favourite machine. Well, the new one is.
He's welling up. The new one. So we're going to review that more in depth later. So maybe we should move on from this one because he's getting a bit maybe emotional.
going to have to say goodbye to it.
Yes, we're moving on swiftly. Now, these two have already been reviewed by Gio and the star that is Tony Noloth. So, just very quickly, anything you want to add?
Yeah, so as you know, that is sort of designed around automation, gantry unloaders and stuff like that. The other one is all around superimposed.
Brilliant. Okay, so superimposed gantry. Okay, next one we've got here. Now the A20. I'm thinking just not entry level. That's not right. But
it's a cracking little machine. You know, it's reasonably priced. FANUC control. Everybody knows the FANUC side of it. It's a lot of machine for its money, and LFV's available on it now.
Oh, it has got the LFV.
Yeah.
Now with the LFV as well, I understand you had two types of process on it. It's now three. The third one being screw cutting. What were the other two, if you've got?
So
that?
you've got mode 1, mode 2. Mode 1 is you're programming vibrations per rev, and the other one is you're programming RPM per vibration.
Right, we're putting Chris to the test here, both the cameraman and Chris here, in terms of getting that all correct. Okay, saying about the programming, is it easy to do?
What, LFE?
Yeah.
Easy. Turn it on, turn it off.
Oh, right, that's nice. Could someone like me do it? Okay, moving on quickly. The final machine, and you don't see many of these. I think when we were chatting about this the other week, you do see them, and that's, as we're live, I'll remove the coffee. We don't want that there. Don't spill it. But what is this machine, and what would you expect to make with it?
This is a little RO4. You don't see many of them, but you know, watch parts, stuff like that. It's tiny little nuts for watches and tiny screws for it. It's quite big in Denmark.
Quite big in okay, and that you can't see the name. It's RO4.
Yeah, I think I did say that.
There you go. Don't close Chris in there. That is absolutely, Chris, fantastic. We'll be returning to Chris in a minute to meet his new friend, shall we say? Yeah. So that's it. Chris Downham, thank you very much. A great showcase of the showroom up here at Briley Hill, and back to our friend Lindsay. Over to you. I know, sorry.
He said friend. I love it. Are we friends, Colin?
Never in doubt, Lindsay.
Never in doubt. Right, okay, James, more questions coming your way.
Hello again.
Have you got any shout outs as well? If you want to message in, write in, let us know you're watching. We would love to hear from you. Get those messages in. Right, okay, first question. Where is the factory located? And that's from Artemis. In fact, I could probably answer that, but I'll let you answer it. So where are we all located across the UK?
Across the UK?
Yep.
Well, we have two sites, one in Briley Hill and one in Bushey, Watford, which is our headquarters.
And where are the machines all made?
So we have a facility in Japan and in Thailand.
Oh, okay. Oh, lovely. Right, second question. What is the maximum length of a tool for the automatic change? And that's from Mikhail, I think, Susan.
So it's 30mm protrusion from the collet face. And that's it, really.
There you go. That's a nice quick answer. Thanks for that one, James. Okay, and third question. The ATC looks impressive. What is the size of the ER inside? And that's from Marco Ricard from Albeck Precision. Before you answer that, what's ER?
ER is the type of collet.
Oh, okay.
And 16 is the diameter of the outside of the collet.
Oh, okay, brilliant. Gosh, he's informative. Anyone got any questions for James? If so, please do send them in. Now, right, okay, don't forget, after this whole event, if you are interested in anything at all that you're seeing throughout the show today, Citizen are doing a VIP tour days throughout the whole of October. So do get in touch and we'll put all the details on the bottom of the screen for you. Right, okay, one thing that you may have spotted or may not have spotted is the ABX80 THYY. And the reason why is it's not actually here because guess what? All of the machines that they've had here have all sold out. And we're guessing because the return on investment of the machine is so good and it's got such a high performance to it. You won't be able to get the first one because that has already sold. And so what we're going to do is head over to Owen at Under Air, and here's a little glimpse of what he had to say about that machine.
We've dropped in to see Owen from Ander. We saw you last year. You bought your first ABX 64. You were thinking maybe in another 12 months you might buy another one. You've gone and done that, but then you've done something else as well. What have you gone and bought?
I bought triple head ABX 80.
Right, okay, so straight away I'm thinking 80mm bar?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay, why have you bought this machine?
Well, a lot of our components that we manufacture for our products, they come out a 3-inch bar. Now, we could make those before on the ABX 64 using a Heimbach chuck, but it was limited because we could only manufacture a number of components per billet, say 7 or 5 in some cases.
Right, so you put a length of bar in there, machine it, part it off, machine the next one.
Exactly,
So,
yeah.
Okay, so now with this machine, just talk me through the specification in the actual working envelope.
Well, what we've got is 80mm bar capacity, and there's a bar feeder for that as well. That means that all of our 3-inch work can now just run off the bar, which saves a lot. Going to save us a lot of time.
Okay, now you're not geared up, you don't want to be running 24/7 because you're not that type of machine shop, but you can essentially run this.
Pretty much, yeah. I mean, it runs continuously through the day. We keep an eye on it just because it's so new for us at the moment. But yeah, it can run 24/7 if required.
The machine itself then is the ABX 80 THY. What does that actually mean?
THY is standing for triple head and a Y-axis on all 3 heads. So the great feature of that is we can run 3 heads simultaneously. We've got 2 heads, 1 and 2. They are, well, 1 and 2 can operate on the main spindle, and number 3 operates on the sub spindle. However, head 2 can operate on the main spindle and the sub spindle if required. Now, what that means is that we can do a lot more work simultaneously, reducing the cycle time.
I mean, it's really good to see a happy customer. I mean, you don't get better than a customer's review, do you? And as Owen did say, running 80mm bar 24/7 and cutting 3 faces at once. Wow, it really is amazing to see the technology that is out and about in a working machine shop. It's really incredible. Now something a little bit different from Squad CNC, who I love their videos because I follow them on Instagram as well. In fact, I didn't realise who it was until the past week as well. So if you want to go on Instagram and follow them, they are called Squad CNC, and it's Citizen's very own Chris Downham who runs the channel, or the page really. He really showcases numerous actually, applications and how the machines are cutting. And engineers, I know that you'll love it, and quite a few of them have gone viral. Superimposed machining on a BNE 42 MSY machine. So I'm going to pass the mic over to Chris, who is going to explain some of his amazing videos that are out on Instagram. So follow him, Squad CNC.
This is the ATC. I actually really like this. This is so cool to watch. The tool change is phenomenal. A little bit of trochoidal milling from Fusion. So yeah, people like all this sort of stuff on Squad.
I really like it too.
Yeah.
I'm always on my Instagram having a little browse. I find it mesmerising, to be honest.
It's always good to show what the machines can actually do. That's what Squad's all about.
How do you video these?
That is just off my phone.
It's just off your phone?
Yeah, and some GoPros in a bit of a weird place as well, you know, where it shouldn't probably be.
yeah, you're not put us out of a job just yet, sorry. I'm only joking. I absolutely love your videos. I think, yeah, okay, so we've got one more video that we're going to show as well. But I'm just fascinated, like you say, that's the ATC tool change, isn't it?
Yeah, that is. That's 10,000 RPM. There's the tool change. It's about 4 seconds from tip to tip, but if you had to go all the way around the carousel or halfway around it, you might add like another half a second or so like that. But I just love the motion it does.
And you've been working with these machines since how old were you?
I'd say about 16 was when I first got on a Citizen.
Yeah. And what do you think about the brand? What do you like about working for the brand?
I like it, and I like getting all the new technology. We're always we always have the new technology, you know, superimposed LFV. It's always come to us first, and it's always good. You know, we get to play with it. We're the first people to touch it.
And on a day-to-day, what is your role here?
So I'm a solutions engineer. I do a lot of the turnkeys, time studies, supporting the sales guys, stuff like that. That's what I do.
So tell me, like, on a day-to-day basis, if a customer, will they go to you in need of a machine and then you'll recommend the machine,
Yeah.
or do you go through a specific application?
Yeah, so they come to the sales guy, say, I need to make this. We would say, okay, we need to time study it, and then they'd say, do you want a solution for it, or do you just want a time study? And then we'd build a solution. Then I'd go and prove the process. You know, if we need to hit CP, CPK, or whatever,
Yeah.
we could do runoffs as well.
And when you say time studies, where does that take people? You know, when you do a time scale study, what do they do with that?
So then they can go and, you know, see if it's quick enough. They can do costing, cost per part.
Oh, okay, so they'll go and cost up a
Yeah,
part.
is it justifiable to buy the machine, or do I need it cheaper, or whatever? You know.
And do you help them with finance as well?
I don't. I'm just the engineer, but our sales guys
Yeah.
will, and John Lane will.
And John Lane looks
yeah,
after your
exactly.
finance as well. Okay, brilliant. Okay, just before we see the new technology announcement that's coming up shortly from a Citizen, next, Colin had a chat with James and found out more about the M32. And as Citizens say, the only restriction on this machine is your imagination.
James, on this machine, essentially the only limitation is your imagination, parts you're making. So it is, as we see here, the M32, but it's actually the M532. What does that mean?
Yeah, this is our 5th generation of M32. It's much bigger, it's much heavier, it's much more rigid.
Okay, so bigger, more solid casting.
Yes, yes.
And
Very
then
stable.
when we're talking 32, I'm assuming a bar, but it will take bigger bar than that?
Yeah, like most of our range, you can always expand it. So this can go up to 38mm, guide bush or guide bushless.
Okay, and then what have you got going in terms of axis? You can do full 5-axis machining here?
Yes, we have a full 5-axis B-axis that can go 135 degrees and negative 15 degrees. So it means you can kind of machine anything you want, really.
Okay, and this will be, I mean, just to reiterate, the full 5-axis simultaneous, because
Yes.
other options, it's more your 3+2, your 4+1.
Exactly, yeah. So, I mean, it's faster. I mean, it has a good effect on tool life as well, because it means you can actually get onto the cutting edge of the tool instead of running on centre.
Okay, so having that simultaneous B-axis will improve your tool life,
Yes.
potentially. Okay, and we'll see over by yourself there, I mean, the screen itself, the HMI, what's going on with this?
So it's our new M800 control, so it's touchscreen. It's much bigger. Our graphics have all been updated, so it's much easier to see what we're doing. It's easy to set tools. It's easy to tell the machine what actual tool we've got in.
Okay, and I'm assuming Mitsubishi driver, is that a stupid question? Mitsubishi controls, is that a stupid question?
Mitsubishi. We like to stick with Mitsubishi just because of the speed and stuff, especially with the 5-axis control. It does help streamline the whole process.
Okay, and when you're saying the processing, you're going to get much improved times in terms of performance cycle times?
Yeah, I mean they're just quicker. They don't lag. You know, they read ahead and they just keep going and going. You know,
Okay.
There's no stopping.
And then working our cameraman here, he's concentrating on the HMI, but going back into the actual envelope here. In terms of the drive on the turret, that's a Tang drive, is that correct?
Yeah, so we have a Tang drive on it, which means we've got a little bit more power as well, and it's only driving the station that's actually being used at the time. So
Right.
It's much more rigid.
Okay, so normal turrets, and all the drives are
They'd
working.
all be spinning at once, yeah.
So you're getting a lot more power through that drive.
Yeah, I mean there's a lot less actual to run as well as a result of it, because it's only driving the one tool.
Excellent. Okay, that's fantastic, James. Great little sort of overview of the M. Now, just to get this right, it is actually the M532 Series 5
Yes.
M32.
Yes. You can always pencil that in if you want.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Well, the M32 has been the Syncom flagship model for in excess of 25 years, really. And this is now obviously the 5th generation. It's come with a lot of improvements, which you'd expect. You know, it's a machine that's very capable of doing complex parts, but can be programmed simply and easily. And this is equally capable of doing simple parts. So it's ideal for the subcontract market, which, you know, is a big part of our customer base.
Yeah, and you know, Tony, you've been here how many years now?
Off and on 30, but
Off and on 30 years. And Tony, I just want to know a little bit more about yourself and, you know, working with Citizen. How do you enjoy, like, you know, what do you enjoy about working for Citizen? And what do you think the pros of Citizen are?
the
Pros.
Citizen,
Why
well,
come
bas-
to Citizen?
yeah, well, we call ourselves the one-stop turning shop, and it is really. So from 1 to 80mm diameter, we've got solutions. But I think it's fair to say we've got a top-of-the-range product, you
Yeah.
know, and the always with Syncom, it's always developing, and with Miano, it's always developing. So we're always at the forefront of technology. As a salesman, that's what you want. You
Well, that's
know,
what
you
you
can
want,
always offer something.
And that's exactly what Edward was saying earlier on in the show. So
He
if you
told me
missed
to say it.
Oh, we brilliant. And that's why this guy is a legend. Any questions? Have we got any more? We've got loads of likes coming in on LinkedIn and YouTube. Any questions? I've got Tony here, the legend that likes cider. So even if you want to discuss cider, he is here on hand to answer your questions. Right, so last but definitely not least, we're going to be talking about the BNE 51 MYY machine. This machine is up there potentially for being a market leader, giving speed, accuracy, and so much more. And as Citizen states, it's competing and exceeding capabilities of other machines in its class. So let's go over to Colin, who's chatting to Chris to find out more and to get more information about that competition winner.
Lindsay, thank you very much. And I just want to say, I know you'll say at the end of the show, Lindsay, but it has been emotional, and the guys from Citizen have been absolutely fantastic, because we have put them under a lot of pressure, and they weren't expecting all these questions, which is great. But it proves, I suppose, that you do know your stuff. Now, Chris did get emotional when we were looking at the machines over there, the BNJ 51, and this is his new girlfriend. Can we call her? And we, you know, people said to me before about LFV, for example, it's a game changer. It really is. You said about this machine, it is a game changer.
Yeah, I know.
Prove it. Tell me about it.
It's the old BNE was super quick, and it could make, you know, complex parts fast. But sometimes you had to do a bit of a complex moving about of the turrets to get the Y-axis on the back. But adding just a Y2 axis has made such a difference. You know, you can do more complex parts now, even faster.
Okay. Is this aimed at any particular industry?
No, high volume would be ideal, you know, like OEMs and automotive maybe. But if you want it as a jobbing machine, it will work as a jobbing machine. It's not complicated to use.
Okay. And we mentioned the tang drive earlier on the other machine. Has that similar
Yeah,
system?
exactly the same.
So you're getting superpower through each individual drive when required. Now, having sort of known you guys and worked with you closely, you're talking, you know, you like to tell me about your pinch milling, pinch turning. What are the other ones you can do?
Oh, it's endless. You want to pinch drill, pinch turn, or you just want to be doing 2 different operations or 3 different operations at once. You know, like on the demo here, we're finished turning on the top, screw cutting on the bottom, and then screw cutting on the back. It's really all about the superimposed on this.
Superimposed. Okay. Also, polar milling, is that a thing in the past?
Probably now, because we've got the Y-axis. I know a Y-axis has been about for ages, but on a machine this quick, it's just added more flexibility with it.
Excellent, okay. And things like I'm assuming Mitsubishi control as usual?
Yeah, it's gone over to the M800 control. Right. You'll probably see this move on to most of our Citizen range now. Really nice. You could probably slap the program from the old machine straight into it and it will work.
That's very technical. That's slap the program in.
Sorry, that's my engineer talk. But yeah, so the new control is it's really nice to use, user-friendly. Interface is really good.
Brilliant. Okay. Now, we did do a cycle time challenge yesterday, and we were sort of checking it out this morning on the way here. As I was having a mild panic about this whole event, which I think has gone very well. So thank you very much, Chris. And there are loads of answers coming in, and loads of correct answers. And it transpires that this part here. Well, if you could first of all talk me through that, and just our guys that are filming it. So if you could talk through what you've done with this component, because it's perfect.
How it's machined,
and a perfect example for this machine.
Yeah. So these machines seem to suit hydraulic fittings extremely well. So it's a bit of balanced rough turning, which is all superimposed, drilling superimposed, threading superimposed, but the real big killer is these 4 flats with the two holes in
If
them.
you could just for the viewers, if you could just hold it still so they can actually see the beauty of it.
You know, this would actually take twice as long just to do these 4 flats, you know, but because we're doing them simultaneously at the same time, you're going to half that time just to do that. Also, it's off fully deburred as well.
Right. I'm almost stuck for words, which I know is probably a first for everybody out there. Now, before we say about the cycle time, you talk. I mean, we'll be talking pinch milling, pinch turning, simultaneous machining, superimposed. I'm thinking that is going to be an absolute nightmare to program.
It's you'd think so, but the control and what Citizen have done through the HMI has made it extremely simple.
So to quote you earlier, just slap it in there.
Just slap it in there, you know. Just put a few codes in there and press the green. No, don't do that, for God's sake. Yeah, the programming side of it, the control's doing the hard work. So all you do is you program the G code completely standard, put a few of Citizen's macros in there, or the G codes.
Yep.
And that's the bit that does all the complicated stuff.
Brilliant. Okay, I mean, that's a great overview of the machine. Are you welling up still?
I just want to carry on playing with it.
Yeah, so we've ruined Chris's day. He's had to go live.
Yeah.
And so, in terms of cycle time, the big reveal, what was it?
2 minutes, 44 seconds.
Right, just to confirm, 2 minutes 40 seconds for that component, which is absolutely amazing. Now, we have had, as I mentioned, a number of winners, and I'm not making a phone call here to go live to them because there's so many, I'll be here all day. But a few of the winners, it's going to cost us, well, Paul Jones has decided he'll stump up the money for this prize. So we've got Andy Seuss, our friend from Bedford CNC, Keith Moran, Jordan Parkinson, Neil Harvey, Adam M, Stephen Rowland, to name but a few. So that's it. I'm done. Is there anything else you want to add?
No, I think we're all good.
Guys, that's it. Chris, thank you very much. Thank you very much. And now, it's been emotional for all of us, and I think Lindsay's just about there. Thank you very much for watching, and back to my friend Lindsay.
Hello. Okay, so Tony and I were just talking about how long we've known one another, and Tony's like, it's not 10 years, it can't be. It was Mac 12 years ago.
That's
wasn't
right.
it?
I remember it, yeah.
We're reminiscing. Right, we have got some questions coming in, so thank you. So Tony, I'm putting you on the spot here. With sliding heads being so flexible and bigger bar diameters, why would I buy a 42mm fixed head machine instead?
That's a good question. It's nice to have the flexibility. It's nice to have the option, basically. And so when you get above 32 millimeters, we've got the option, whether it be a Simcom or a Miano.
Yeah.
The part dictates it in some instances, long slender parts, typical sliding head parts. If a part's a bit more chunky and would benefit from the rigidity of a fixed head, which is, by nature is slightly more rigid than a sliding head machine, then we can consider both options. And so that's the flexibility is a good thing to have, and there's not a one-size-fits-all solution, really.
As an audience member, what I'd be thinking now, is there like a huge jump in price? Because at the end of the day, everything comes down to price. So is there a crossover, or is it a case of your sliders are one set and then you go up to your fixed heads?
Yeah, no, there is a crossover, and it's very much solution driven.
Yeah.
As we've spoken about before, it's cost per part, it's return on investment for us. So at the end of the day, if a part can be produced more efficiently on a fixed head, then we go that route. If it's more efficient on a slider,
Yeah.
in comparison to whatever the cost is, and there's no break point, then we come up with the right solution, really.
And as James said earlier, you sort out the cost per part, and you're doing the cycle times and everything with everyone.
Yeah, we look at the part, we look at the various options. We might even consider, the part, do a time study on a fixed head and a sliding head to see what that
Really
direct
compare the
comparison.
two.
Yeah.
Right, okay, brilliant. And is there a FANUC option on the control access, the control across all Citizen machines? And that's from Ben. Thank you for writing that in.
Say that again, sorry, Lindsay.
Sorry, is there a FANUC option on the control across all of the machines?
No, so there's a mixture of controls. So we have FANUC and Mitsubishi, as has probably been described before, but that's machine dependent.
Okay.
So you can't have an ABC machine with a FANUC control or a Mitsubishi. It depends on what the machine is as to what control is with that machine.
Right, brilliant. Very, very informative. Right, okay, well, that's the end of the Citizen Open House live event. Thank you so much for your questions, your likes, and getting involved. If you want to get in contact, then you should hopefully already know who your sales representative is. Or, as we mentioned, you can book onto the Citizen VIP event by telephoning and booking that way, or you can also email sales@citizenmachinery.co.uk. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Thank you for everyone involved in front of the camera and behind the camera too. And hopefully we'll see you again very soon.